And welcome to Too Many Movies at the Movies with me, Joe. Of course, I'm not at the movies. I saw the movie in the cinema a few hours ago with a good buddy of mine. I just want to give, kind of go through everything like I usually do. This time I saw Spider-Man Homecoming. The long-anticipated kind of Marvel, even though Sony distributed it, but Marvel Spider-Man movie, because Sony's done the other 5 Spider-Man movies in the past. And I'll go ahead and say, don't like the first one. Spider-Man 2 is one of the best superhero movies of all time, still holds up for the most part. Spider-Man 3, not very good. Amazing Spider-Man I liked for the most part. And Amazing Spider-Man 2 did not like. So there you go. And they've been like so Spider-Man movies, even Spider-Man 2 and Amazing Spider-Man, like there's still a lot wrong with them, but they just, 2 and the first Amazing Spider-Man, they got more right than wrong. But it's still just not Spider-Man to me. And I was hoping and praying, and I know I'm not religious, I don't pray, but I was praying to God, or gods, or whatever's up there, if anything, that to do this justice, for Marvel to finally give us Spider-Man that we deserved. And that is exactly what they did. Spider-Man Homecoming is awesome. But I'll quickly go through all the categories I usually do. When it comes to Spider-Man Homecoming, let's talk about the plot / the script. The plot of Spider-Man Homecoming, just like any other superhero movie, Peter Parker Spider-Man is in high school, he's 15. It's Tom Holland, he looks like he's 15. The whole cast of teenagers looks like they're 15, but I'll get to that. And he's got to juggle being Spider-Man. It's the events right after Civil War, and they do this really clever thing where I don't want to ruin it, but this clever thing at the very beginning, and I like the beginning too. It shows how Vulture, Michael Keaton's character, Mr. Toombs, I can't remember his first name, becomes Vulture and what happens. And then, this takes place right after Civil War, and Spider-Man is, trying to, he thinks he wants to become an Avenger. He bothers Happy and Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, which is always great to see, and he wants more to do when they just really want him to kind of take care of where he is in Queens and in New York. And that's what he does. But he's got to juggle that with his school responsibilities and his unnaturally attractive aunt, Marissa Tomei, who plays Aunt May, and friends, and like a brainy decathlon thing, and trying to date. And it's juggled very well, but that's really the plot of the movie. But eventually he's got to go up against the Vulture. He's still not Spider-Man yet. He's still learning. He makes a ton of mistakes. He's a kid, so of course he does. And it all comes to a very satisfying ending. And that's really the plot. And when it comes to the script, I was worried when I saw it had like 5 or 6 or 25 writers. That's usually a death sentence for a movie because it just doesn't work. But in this case, it worked. They put together a very solid script. And it was basically, they said it was a John Hughes movie with superheroes. And that's exactly what they did. They even had a clip of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And they parodied the running scene with Matthew Broderick in that movie. And it was great. But the kids actually talk like kids. The dialogue is great. The humor, there's a lot of humor, but it works. It's great. And it's well written. The jokes are funny for the most part. The majority of them hit. And the serious moments are natural. So the script is solid. Very solid. The best Spider-Man script by far. And they paid homage to the comics, but also they updated it. They did everything they were supposed to do with this script. So if you need 6 writers for the next, couple of Spider-Man movies, do it. Just do whatever you have to. So that was great. So next, it's the cast and characters. So I love Tom Holland in Captain America Civil War. I thought he did a fantastic job, and we finally have a great Peter Parker and a great Spider-Man. Where Tobey Maguire was a good Peter Parker, not a great Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was a good Spider-Man, not a great Peter Parker. It's like, put them together, it would have been a good Spider-Man. But in this case, we have it with the same actor, and God bless Tom Holland. He's hilarious as Spider-Man, he kicks ass. As Peter Parker, he's a dork, and believable and awkward, but you also believe he's just a dumb teenager who is trying to do good and also trying to live a teenage life, and he makes a ton of mistakes. A lot of the choices in this movie for his character are fantastic. The way everything is resolved at the end is great for him and his character. Tom Holland does a fantastic job. Michael Keaton, one of my all-time favorite actors, and it's so weird that he played Batman in a DC movie, and now he's a villain in Marvel. He does fantastic as the Vulture. The look, the little voice he has, the New York thing, it fits perfectly. He does a fantastic job, and his character is well written. Probably one of the best well written Marvel villains, if not the best, to be honest, because that's usually the weakest part of the Marvel movies. And the scene between him and Peter, and I won't ruin it, is so good, and it's mainly carried by Michael. But I love Michael Keaton in this. Robert Downey Jr. is great as always. He's not in it that much. He doesn't overshadow the movie, which was a great choice, but when he's in it, it means something. His little mentoring thing with Peter is fantastic. Happy's actually in it more, and he's great. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. I love the choice of a younger aunt and the jokes of her being hot. She was great. All the friends of Peter's and the love interest, everybody's just fantastic. There's no weak links. Peter's best friend got on my nerves at first. He's a little annoying, but he grew on me. It's like the comedic sidekick Michael Pena in Ant-Man. I hated him at first, but as the movie went on, he grew on me, and I eventually loved him and loved his humor. And same with that kid. He was very good, very funny, but the cast is great. All the characters are necessary. The only one, the guy who played Flash, it was a weird choice. He did a good job. It's just the way they changed Flash was weird, but it's okay. It doesn't really bother me that much. We'll see in future movies how it goes. But yeah, that's it for that. And last but not least, talk about the directing, the editing, and the music. The director of this movie, and I can't remember his name, sorry. It's what happens when you just do these videos on the fly. But he did a wonderful job. The action scenes are well shot. It's just a very well-directed movie. I've yet to see a badly directed Marvel movie. They choose the right people. And he did a great job, so props to him. He knew where to have the camera for the action scenes, and the talking scenes. Everything just felt natural. The direction never seemed off. So kudos to him. I hope he comes back for the sequel or even a couple sequels. The editing of the movie, and it's funny when I bring up editing, people will be like, why are you talking about that? But it's one of the major parts. You know, that's why it is a major award at the Academy Awards. It's up there because without editing, movies would be crap. And the editing in this, as usual for Marvel film, is crisp and it's top-notch and it's great. So props to the film editor for that. The music is the usual Marvel goodness. At the very beginning of the movie, they play the Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Like, going back to the old days, it was great. But besides that, the music in it fit. Beautiful, wonderful, as always, top-notch. So my final thoughts about Spider-Man Homecoming, it was the Spider-Man movie that I always wanted, and I want to go see it in the theater again, and even if I don't, I will definitely buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray. I love this movie. Once again, it's getting rave reviews from audience and critics. Marvel does it again. You keep thinking the bubble might burst. I had a bad feeling about this movie, but thank God I was wrong, because my gut was wrong for once when it came to a movie. For some reason, I just got a bad feeling. And just, no, it was fantastic. And it was the Spider-Man movie Spider-Man fans deserve and we wanted. Everything about it. I mean, it has its problems, but, and a few things annoyed me. But overall, I had such a blast, and the movie flowed so well. It's like over 2 hours, and it did not feel like it. It went so quick. And I laughed, I got upset, I went through every emotion with this movie, and at the end, I was just thrilled that I saw it, and I recommend you see it too. If you're a Spider-Man fan, if you're a Marvel movie fan, or you just want to go see a good action movie, go see Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm giving it a Joe rating of 4.5 out of 5. So this was Too Many Movies at the Movies with me, Joe. Please go see Spider-Man Homecoming. It is wonderful. It does live up to the hype. Everyone who's praising it is absolutely right. It has a few flaws, but nothing major. So please go and see it. I hope to see it again in theaters at least one more time. So yeah, it's going to be a huge hit. I mean, it already is. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Quiet on the set.